One thing I've never seen in the Splatoon community is a method that lets people choose a sensitivity that's comfortable for them. There's been some Japanese players in the past who've shown methods for doing so, most notably Denchan and Xion, but these methods are flawed, as they're based primarily on flicking, which newer players shouldn't be focusing on. In addition, while flicking is incredibly important, it shouldn't be what your choice of sensitivity is based around. In today's video, we're going to go over a method that lets you reliably choose a comfortable motion sensitivity which doesn't have the problems previously mentioned. Okay, so what you're first going to do for this method is you're going to choose any stinger weapon. I chose Jet because it has the fastest stinger in the game, but you can choose anyone, it doesn't matter. Next, you just paint for Stingray, and what you do after that is you go over to this wall, and you shoot through the wall onto the wall that would be to the right of where you start. So that looks like this. And what you're trying to do with this is you're trying to make a really small dot that's about the size of your cursor. Okay, so that was just the setup for the method. Next what you're going to do is you're going to choose the following three sensitivities. -5, 0, and +5. So what you're going to do is you're going to choose each sensitivity individually, and you're going to face the ink dot, and you're going to press and hold Y, and then you move back and forth from left to right, while trying to keep your cursor on the ink dot as best as you can. Make sure to not move too predictably while you're doing this, that is, mix your movement up as against me doing here. Make sure to mix it up with swimming and running, all that good stuff. In addition, make sure to take mental notes of the sensitivity that you're on. Does the sensitivity feel like it's too stiff and it feels like you're having to move your hands too much? Does it feel like it's too high and it feels like you're having to keep your hands too stiff? Regardless of your situation, what's important is that you're being honest with yourself. You shouldn't choose a sensitivity because your favorite top player uses it or because you've used it for so long. The main thing that's important is that you truly feel that the sensitivity you choose is comfortable to you and to you only. Now that you've tested all three sensitivities, it's time to eliminate one. For me, that was +5 since it felt like I was having to keep my hands way too stiff in order to keep the cursor on the ink dot. For you, this may be completely different and you might find -5 uncomfortable as you feel like you're having to move your hands too much. Regardless, you should not be eliminating the middle sensitivity. You need to be eliminating one of the extremes, otherwise you're doing something incorrectly. Now that you've eliminated one of the sensitivities, what you're going to do now is you're going to take the average of the two sensitivities that you now have. For me, that was -5 and 0, which the average of is -2.5. After you do this, you're going to do the same test with these three new sensitivities. So once again for me, that is -5, -2.5, and 0. After you're done with those tests, you eliminate, once again, the sensitivity that you find the least comfortable. So for me, that is 0. After you do this, you take the average of the two leftover sensitivities and use that as your new middle sensitivity. So for me, that would be -5 and -2.5. The only issue is that the average of those two numbers is -3.75, which is not an in-game option. So whenever this happens, it would not matter if I do the next test with -5 or -3.5 or -4. It doesn't matter which one I'd choose. If I'm doing the test correctly, I'd do the same. I'd get the same end result, and then -2.5. You do this over and over and over and over again until you get three sensitivities which are right next to each other. So for me, that was -5, -4.5, and -4. Whenever you get those three sensitivities which are right next to each other, you just choose from the one that you find the most comfortable, and that's the sensitivity that you are going to use. Okay, so now that we've chosen a motion sensitivity, how would you go about choosing a stick sensitivity? Stick sensitivity in this game is a lot less than motion sensitivity in my opinion, but that being said, sticks do serve a very important role in this game. That role is essentially the same role that picking up your mouse and moving over back onto the mouse mat would in PC FPS games. So having your sticks on low is not something you want. You want your sticks to be on a positive sense. Anything from 0 to 5 works. I have mine set to +1, but as long as you have your stick set to positive, it should be fine. Once again, this sense doesn't really matter, just make sure it's not too low. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you found it at the very least entertaining, if not educational. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, as it helps me out a lot, and I plan on covering more content like this in the future. I also stream pretty regularly on Twitch, so if you have any other questions, leave in the comments or drop by there. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Anyways, that's it. Hope you guys have a fun day.